What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 128th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. My name is SBJ, and I am actually not your host today. You will be hearing Travis imitate me in a second, and it's going to be hilarious because he does a pretty good job at it. He's going to introduce the show and host the entire show, so hopefully you enjoy it. I did want to swing in because as I was editing this show for you guys, this is pretty exciting show for us because not because of the content, because it's just Pokemon stuff, and we're pretty boring here. But we have our very first sponsor ever, official sponsor, that we will have in the midsection with a cool promo code for you guys. So I don't want to spoil it for any of you guys, but we are excited to have a sponsor because that helps pay for our servers and our site and everything we do here. So I will let you guys enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Pokemon Podcast. My name is not, in fact, SBJ. My name is Travis. SBJ is out on an assignment looking for that darn Grumpig Megastone, which he just can't find because no one has the guts to tell him that Grumpig did not get a Mega Evolution. I am joined by two beautiful individuals, the first of which being Saul.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you again.
I don't think you see them. I don't think that's how the medium works.
It's nice to have you all hear me again.
And
How's
the
that?
second guest, beautiful Saul. The second guest is a new co-host to ISC, my good friend Declan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
You might be wondering, where's Will? Well, I asked Will to be on the show, and he took too long. You might be asking, where's Kenny? I asked Kenny, and he didn't respond. You might be asking, where's Andrew? Well, Steve said we can't have a 20th episode where it's just me, Saul, and Andrew. And Saul was online when I needed somebody. So we have this crew. I like this crew. Declan, it's your first time on the show. Do you want to maybe talk about like your favorite Pokemon, when you were introduced to the series, stuff like that?
Okay, so I'll start when I was introduced. I was on a car ride over to a soccer game this past June, I believe, and I was just looking for something to listen to on the way because it was like a 4-hour drive. And then I found this podcast, and I was just like, is this Travis? In fact, it was Travis. And that's how I got started with this great series of podcasts.
It's a small world after all. It's a small one. I was actually curious as to how you were introduced to Pokemon in general, like the video games, cards, whichever came first for you.
It was the video game, and I believe so my cousin Andy had Pokemon Red the original, and I saw it, so I stole it from him and his Game Boy. And I started playing it, and I was like, what are these things? And it all started from there, and now I'm here.
And the rest was history. Do you have a favorite Pokemon overall, and then what's your favorite Gen 6 Pokemon so far?
Okay, my favorite Pokemon. Let me think about this real quick. There's so many. Oh gosh. I'm gonna be a little mainstream. I like Magneton.
Magneton's cool. I don't feel like that's too mainstream. I feel like that's a pretty niche choice.
I like Magneton. It'd be really cool if he got levitate ability, but then he'd be overpowered.
Yeah, he did very good. You just put that air balloon, and he's golden.
Yeah.
But what about Gen 6? Any Gen 6 favorites yet, or is it too early to say?
I like Flabébé.
Flababy's cool. Will also.
Just because of the name.
And
I've been trying to train one up, but it's really hard to train those things.
Florges is actually a pretty good Pokemon because its special defense is like through the roof. Saul, I don't think you've been on since X and Y have been released, have you?
I don't think so.
What's your favorite Gen 6 Pokemon? Do you like Gen 6?
I love Gen 6.
Yay!
My favorite? Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm gonna go ahead and say... Ooh, I don't know.
Thanks, Saul.
You can't just spring questions like this on
Well,
me, Travis.
I'm just gonna say it's Trevenant. I get to choose because you didn't know.
Trevenant.
A side story about that. I've talked on this show already that Trevenant is like the only Gen 6 Pokemon I don't like, and I was doing some tweaks to my VGC team for this year, and that's going to be, I guess, probably the majority of the show is talking about the VGC rules, which were just announced. And I was making this team centered around Crocodile and Mr. Mime, and I was like tweaking things and trying to figure out what else I needed, and like the last slot, it had to be Trevenant. Like no other Pokemon could fit the niche I needed other than Trevenant. And so I'm just sitting there like wallowing in my sorrow that I have to use the one Gen 6 Pokemon I don't like so that I can use Mr. Mime and Crocodile. Anyway, with that, we'll segue right into the news. And the first bit of news is that, like I said, the VGC rules are announced. We'll get more in detail of what they are in the middle section of the show, but just generally the VGC or the Video Game Championships every year. Is it the Pokemon Company International ? Puts on? Yeah, TCPI puts on a tournament every year. Well, a number of them. There's regional tournaments, and then the national tournament, and then the world tournament. And the format for this year, for 2014, was announced. And so, there are prizes. Like, I think you get scholarships in the something thousands of dollars if you win worlds, that sort of thing. I go every year. A couple of the folks from the podcast try to go every year. So it's always fun, and it's always double battles. So that's always a little interesting because most tournaments and things are single battles. So it's a nice, it's sort of fresh and interesting. And because Gen 6 is out, there's a lot of new things coming up. But I guess I'll ask these guys their reactions to that later, so that's going to be the bulk of the show. Also, I don't know if you're all animated out from last week's episode, but the Eevee special came out. So that's a thing. I hear Declan fell asleep during the Eevee special. How was that experience, Deck?
Well, it started off, it was like every other special where it just like introduced the main Pokemon to it. And after that, it just got really weird. So I just kind of doze off.
Sounds like a riveting time.
No.
What happens? Like, what's the premise? Did you even get that far?
So like the first 8 minutes of it
Oh,
are just introducing all the Eevees. And after that, it just got really weird, so I fell asleep.
did they have a grand entrance for Sylveon?
Not really.
Oh, well, sounds like a grand waste of time.
Yeah.
So I think it's still available on Pokemon.com. I might be wrong, and maybe by the time the episode comes out, it will be. Because I don't edit this show.
I watched it on the Pokemon TV app on my iPad.
Which is based on the Pokemon.com, so once that changes, it would as well. Is that app cool? Like, does it work well?
It just it has a bunch of random every generation episodes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, season. And some of them are pretty interesting. Some of the old ones are pretty good. Reminds me of my past. And then there's a few specials that are on there. And the app is it's okay. The app is a little formatted weird for the iPad, I noticed.
Uh-huh.
You can't even, if you stop the video in the middle of it to look something up on Google or something or anything, you have to restart the whole entire episode. It doesn't just save your spot.
It's a bummer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the other thing? There was another news item I had. Oh, yeah. So Pokebank comes out the 27th? Is that what we said, or the 17th? It ended in a
27th.
The 27th. So 2 days after Christmas, the day after Boxing Day, Pokebank gets released. How Pokebank works is it's two things. There's along with it is an app called PokeTransfer, which is I think that's what it's called. It's the method where that they're doing this generation of transferring Pokemon from Gen 5 to Gen 6. You download the app and then you transfer the Pokemon you want up to Gen 6, and they get stored in the Pokebank, which is a service that, if you download the app within the first couple of months of its release, you'll get a 30-day free trial. But essentially, it's a giant storage computer, so like the PC in the game, but a lot larger, intended that you would keep your Pokebank for life, I guess, so that you can pass down your Pokemon to the next generation. I guess I didn't realize the wordplay of there, because generations a thing.
It's basically a portable version of Pokemon Box or My Pokemon Ranch.
Did anyone buy My Pokemon Ranch?
I didn't know.
Dak, did you get My Pokemon Ranch?
I do. I know. No.
Yeah.
Is it on the Wii?
Yeah, I think so.
Or I thought it was on the GameCube, and
No,
then there was
Pokemon Box, because Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire.
Right. Was My Pokemon Ranch the WiiWare one that was on the Wii then?
Yeah, I want to say yes.
So it's like that, except I think there's more storage than either of those had. And it's in the cloud and accessible through your 3DS just by a downloadable app. And the service is $6 a year, which, in my opinion, isn't that bad of a price for a full year, right?
Yeah.
And I
mean,
think
it makes sense, being that it's typically Pokemon is aimed at younger kids.
Right.
Like
$6 a year.
Giant price.
Yeah.
And I think the free trial makes it even nicer, because if you don't want all the storage, but you just want a way to transfer your Pokemon up, they're still giving you that ability. I think it is a little unfortunate that you only get the free trial if you get it right when it comes out, because I think, it seems weird to force people to pay for just getting their old Pokemon back, especially when the game's, I don't know, I feel like the game is about creating a relationship with your Pokemon, so hey, pay to make sure you continue having these Pokemon you love. But I think the actual system itself is cool. Being able to store them that way is very nifty. Are you two gonna get Pokebank when it comes out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any Pokemon you've been dying to transfer up that you haven't been able to?
Yeah,
pretty much whatever is not in the regional decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this Charizard that I got from Fire Red back in the day, named Char, who's level 100, and I've always wanted him back in the current gen.
Yeah, I have this Gardevoir I've had since Gen 3. That's the first Pokemon I've gotten to level 100, and it's stuck in Gen 5. Can't make the leap. Can't make the leap over. And I like that
Soon.
Yeah. I like that it's Fairy type now, because Fairy is such a extremely good type, so it's even better now. But we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we will be talking about VGC rules. We're getting to some intricacies of that, because you thought you were safe last week. You thought they were talking about the anime. Travis wasn't even there. You thought you were safe from me talking about numbers, but you're not. And Will isn't even here to make fun of me for doing it. So we're going to go ham. So we'll see you after some music.
Hey guys, remember at the beginning of the episode when I was talking before Travis, I said that we now have a sponsor? Well, that's because we do. This podcast, It's Super Effective, is brought to you by footcardigan.com. That is FOOTCARDIGAN.com. And I can spell. Foot Cardigan delivers one random pair of crazy socks to your mailbox every month. Isn't that right, Will?
That's right. And actually, as part of the sponsorship, we are able to get a discount code for everybody. And the code is PokeSocks. That's POKESOCKS. And if you don't know how to make the little accent on the E on your keyboard, don't worry. Not necessary, but make it all lowercase. And you can receive 20% off of a Foot Cardigan Pay Once subscription. So they actually, and as part of that, they offer $2 shipping anywhere in the world, even for Poke fans in Australia, that you can participate in this promotion.
That's right. That's right. I believe it's definitely free shipping for people in the U.S. Just I did my research. Free shipping for people in the U.S. $2 shipping for anywhere else in the world. What is this, you might ask? Well, every month they will put a surprise back into your mailbox, and they will put fun on your feet. Foot Cardigan socks are a great gift for anyone during the holidays, even for yourself.
And people like me who have no friends need to buy themselves presents.
That's right. So let's be realistic about our sponsor here. How many times do you hate going to the store and finding boring white socks? Those are no good when you go to somebody's house. You're not going to stand out. Foot Cardigan gives you a unique pair of socks that you're not going to find anywhere else. And then when you go to somebody else's house, you'll have the coolest socks there.
I think that's really cool, because the last time I bought socks, I don't go to the store to buy socks. And I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. So they're not the happiest socks out there. And I do have to, I wear a suit to work. And usually when you're wearing a suit, one of the only ways to be really creative is in putting on some cool socks that, just peek out from below your pants.
That little peek.
Yep, and this is a fun way to express your creativity and individuality in the office. So I'm definitely going to subscribe, no doubt.
And I already have. I was so pumped to get these guys as our sponsor because their product is so cool. So for our listeners, to support our sponsor who then supports us, you should jump over to footcardigan.com and enter the code POKESOCKS, POKESOCKS, and you will get 20% off your entire order of socks, whether you want a 3-month subscription or a 6-month or a year subscription, because you're that dedicated to unique, really cool socks. Jump on over and do that for us now.
And we are back. I think I've gotten worse at my impression of Steve's and we are back. I think I've played up the way he doesn't really pronounce the R and back too much now. That it's just become a beast of its own. But that's neither here nor there. The subject at hand is that the VDC rules have been announced. The big difference, obviously, is that the game is going to be played on Gen 6 as opposed to Gen 5.
Don't say.
Yeah, so
Makes sense.
as was sort of expected, but it's still up in the air. The Pokemon that are usable are the Pokemon that are available in the Kalos Dex. So that's all the new Pokemon plus the old Pokemon that are in Gen 6. So no Pokemon that are in the regional Kalos Dex. So that means I think it's a pretty cool set of Pokemon. You get like the most important Pokemon from the old games, like your Scizors and your Garchomps and things, but you also don't have too many of those, so you can still play around with really cool new Pokemon like Klefki and Greninja and that sort of thing. Although, actually, why would you use Greninja when Rotom Wash is an option? Whatever. Anyway.
Protean Greninja.
Yeah. Greninja. Another small detail, like one of the smallest details that's changed, is that Now Dark Void as a move isn't banned. Previously they had banned Darkrai in addition to Dark Void so that you couldn't use a Smeargle that knew Dark Void. The reason being is that the move is very strong in double battles because it puts both opponents to sleep with 80% chance or maybe 85% chance of doing so. And if that happens, it's sort of detrimental when in VGC, even though you bring a team of 6, you only pick 4 Pokemon to actually bring into the battle. So 2 of your Pokemon are completely debilitated from the first turn, which isn't always a good thing. So Smeargle's sometimes around using Dark Void, but I haven't actually seen it that much. Either of you have reactions to the rule sets, things you might want to try out?
I like Smeargle.
Smeargle's cool. I wish... Oh, go ahead, Saul.
I was thinking about the Dark Void being unbanned.
Mm.
And at first I was like, well, you can't get a Dark Void, but Worlds is going to be after Bank comes out, so you could get Dark Void on a Smeargle.
Right. That reminds me, I forgot one more thing. You actually can't even bring an old Pokemon up. So you can't have, like... So I have a Scizor in Gen 5 that has all the IVs I want, so I wouldn't... So, there's no need to breed a new one, right? Except that it actually needs to be a Pokemon that you got in Kalos in Gen 6.
Right, yeah.
Because that little blue pentagon or whatever shape it is that's in your Pokedex entry, if listeners have seen that, indicates that Pokemon was earned within the Gen 6 game, within X and Y. And so any Pokemon brought
is that
from
what that
Pokedex,
means? I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, that's what it means. Previously, people thought it was just a hack detection thing, but it sort of serves a dual purpose of being that and determining that they were indeed from, a Gen 6 cartridge or downloadable title. So that means you can't get... so even though Pokebank will be out, you can't get moves that would only be available through it. So, like, you can't have a Azumarill with superpower, for instance. Which I think is also nice because it prevents it from being, like, the exact same format as last year, because a lot of key moves aren't available. Like, you can't get Bug Bite on Scizor, so it's not quite as good. And gosh, Azumarill would be so good.
It'll be kind of like when 5th Gen came out, and it was like, you can use only 5th Gen Pokemon.
So
and
far,
it
that was
forced a lot of people to do new things.
So far, that was my first and also my favorite VGC, because it was such a small metagame that you could sort of work around it. And this is shaping up to be sort of similar, because pretty much every team's going to have a Wash Rotom, pretty much every team's going to have a Scizor, pretty much every team is going to have a Talonflame. It's sort of just those last 3 that are a bit of a toss-up. So if you can work on your counters to those 3, sometimes you'll see Aegislash, not that often, because not nearly as good in doubles as it is in singles. I guess I could talk about what I have tentatively for my team so far, and has been doing pretty well for me. I have those 3 I mentioned. I have Talonflame, I have Scizor holding the Scissorite, and I have Wash Rotom. And so the Talonflame I run is a little different than most people's. Instead of the Life Orb, or I forget what other item people use, I actually use the Chardy Berry, which has the damage of super effective rock-type moves, so it can withstand most rock slides at least once. And then I have Brave Bird with Gale Wings, of course, which makes Talonflame have increased priority on all flying moves. Then I have Flare Blitz, Roost, and Protect. Scizor, my Mega Scizor, is Bullet Punch, X Scissor, Brick Break, and Protect. Wash Rotom is bulky, so he doesn't have any speed investment, just HP and special attack. Neither does Scizor. And he is Hydro Pump, Discharge, Will-O-Wisp, and Protect. That's sort of the usual set, although most people run Thunderbolt as opposed to Discharge, but I like Discharge because One of the oddballs of my team is a Choice Scarf Crocodile, and I can do Earthquake and Discharge with that combination there, which has very good type coverage, and both of those moves hit all the Pokemon on the field. And since Rotom has Levitate and Crocodile's Ground type, they don't hurt each other.
Clever.
And it's well, I didn't make it up, but I haven't seen anyone else running Crocodile. But
Now you'll see people because of you.
yeah. Oh darn! Steve, edit this part out. Oh no. And so, but what I've found is that Crocodile is most useful is I have Rock Slide on him, and because he has Intimidate, which is an ability that's very good in doubles because it reduces the attack by one stage of both of your opponents. He can't be KO'd by a Talonflame's Brave Bird, and he can always one-hit KO it with Rock Slide. And it also outspeeds and one-hit KOs Mega Charizard Y, which gets some use because it's insanely high special attack, and Drought with Heat Wave, which hits both in doubles. So Crocodile's nice there. I also run, so I have Earthquake, Rock Slide, Crunch for the Dark Stab, which is good on like Gengar and Meowstic. And then Aerial Ace, which I almost never end up using, but it's good against fighting types because he's weak to that. I have Trevenant, like I said. Trevenant. It's so gross. It's just a tree.
Sudowoodo's just a tree.
No, that's where you're wrong. Because he's not. Because he's actually a rock that looks like a tree. There's at least like a gimmick there. And he's sort of silly. Trevenant's just dumb. I'm sorry if there are Trevenant fans in the audience. But you're wrong? Like, you're incorrect? But
how can I tell that Steve's going to edit in like some boos or something?
Boo, boo. They're saying boo earns. Now Steve's going to put an applause in there because I made a Simpsons reference. And so I have Trevenant as specially defensive, and he has Hornleech, Shadow Claw, Will-O-Wisp, and Protect. It's nice that he's specially defensive because Will-O-Wisp shuts down physical attackers, and then his special bulk helps him there. And I have Citrus Berry and Harvest, and so Harvest is an ability where after your Pokemon has eaten their held berry, there's a 50% chance that they'll recover it after the turn. And Citrus Berry heals, 40-50% of your health, something like that. So he sort of keeps getting that back, and it's hard to kill him unless you can do a one-hit KO with something like Talonflame, which you've already killed because of Crocodile. And then the last Pokemon is probably my favorite on the team, Mr. Mime, who is a lot better this generation because he was given the Fairy type in addition to a Psychic. And Dazzling Gleam is a stab fairy move he gets, which hits both opponents. And so I run him with Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, Wide Guard, which is not that known of a move, which makes it so that any move that would hit both you and you, as if you're the Pokemon, would hit both of your Pokemon. It doesn't do anything, and it's not like Protect, so you can use it every turn and it won't fail, which is really cool. And then the fourth move is Protect. Protect is just really important in doubles because if you happen to Protect when your opponent is really trying to kill that Pokemon, you can force them to waste a turn. You can Protect and then use something like Discharge so you don't hurt yourself. And it's just very good in terms of scouting out what the opponent's going to do. Other Pokemon that I enjoy are getting use are Klefki, which is one of my new favorite Pokemon. Along with Klefki, there's a lot of the newer Gen 6 Pokemon are being used as support. Another one is, I think it's Male Meowstic, that's the support one. So Klefki usually uses like Thunder Wave and Swagger and Foul Play. And then Meowstic will use Fake Out, Quick Guard, or is it Wide Guard that it gets? I think it gets Quick Guard, which is very good against Talonflame because they can't use its priority move because of Quick Guard. And then usually like something like a Thunder Wave. Any ideas, you two, on what you might be running? Any clever stuff you have going on in those cute little heads of yours?
I played this one guy online a couple days ago, and he
Yeah.
had a whole entire team. They all had Mega Evolution, so I was confused on what was going to happen.
Yeah. I guess usually people only bring one Mega, because you can't have two Pokemon Mega evolved at the same time. But it
Yeah.
can be a cool bluffing strategy to bring multiple Pokemon that could Mega Evolve so that you keep your opponent guessing. Because mine is obvious, because there's only one Pokemon on my team that has a Mega Evolution, namely Scizor. I'm trying to think of what other Megas get used. Mawile gets used a lot on Trick Room teams. Usually they'll set up Trick Room with something like a Gothitelle or a Gourgeist. And then, because Mawile is so slow, but Mega Mawile has such high attack because of huge power that it can do a lot of damage. Mega Scizor gets some use, not much at all. Other than myself, I don't see it that often. Seen Mega Garchomp. Mega Manectric gets a lot of use because of Intimidate and Discharge, I guess, but I almost more often see Thunderbolt and Volt Switch than Discharge. I even saw Mega Banette once, whose design is way cooler than its actual usage.
Yeah.
So what
Something
about you?
clever, I don't remember where I saw it, but it was a Gale Wings in a Trick Room team,
Oh, right, yeah.
because it just increases priority. It doesn't actually increase the speed.
Right.
Hmm.
So you could Trick Room and then have your Talonflame come in and like Brave Bird or whatever.
Right. And that's also why Talonflame is a good counter to Trick Room, because
Mhm.
it's still going to go ahead. Although, if you're running Talonflame and Trick Room, I guess.
Also, Final Gambit, Shedinja.
What?
There's this video going around. They skill swap 30 onto a Shedinja,
Yeah.
and then obviously it only has 1 HP, so it withstands hits every time it gets hit.
Yeah.
And they just Hone Claws every turn,
Uh-huh.
while there are two other Pokemon. It was a triple battle. Their two other Pokemon were just taking out the other Pokemon, and it was just Hone Claws in the middle. And then on the last turn, it was the Shedinja, and one of its partners was left, and it final gambits and takes out their opponent's last Pokemon.
Wait. No, Final Gambit does damage equal to your HP and then kills you. So it dealt 1 damage?
Yeah,
That's an interesting strategy.
I didn't even know, can Shedinja even get Final Gambit? Or did they have to, like, hack that in somehow? Why
I
would...
have no idea.
I've seen someone... I actually had to...
Nincada can learn it by breeding.
Oh, wow. I actually had to battle someone who had a similar who had the passing skill, or passing sturdy onto Shedinja. They had to use, like, entrainment and skill swap, and it was a whole shebang. And then I used Will-O-Wisp, and it died, and they forfeited.
Oh,
So that's why you always want... Well, there's a whole bunch of reasons, but that's why you always want some status effect, so...
mhm.
What were you going to say, Doc?
I usually have Rapid Spin as well.
Yeah,
I play.
Rapid Spin's good. It doesn't... It's not quite as good in doubles. Oh, well, it would be good in doubles, but not in VGC, because you're only bringing 4 Pokemon. So there's not as much switching, and there's not as many Pokemon to take the residual damage. I have seen it be useful. I have seen Stealth Rocks be useful, though, because I was playing against someone, and they had a Mega Aggron on their team who had Stealth Rocks, and I didn't lead with my Talonflame, so switching in, Talonflame took 50%, and I had to, like, work around and try and roost back up, which was more of a hassle than I wanted to do originally, but it's pretty much only useful on Talonflame, and most people lead with their Talonflame anyway. But yeah, in singles, having a rapid spinner is really nice. Excadrill is one of the best rapid spinners for this generation so far. Gosh, what other Pokemon have I not talked about that are really important? I don't know. I think that's it.
I saw Mega Kangaskhan's being used a bit.
Oh, that's.
I
Thank
love
you,
Mega
Saul.
Kangaskhan.
I knew there was a reason I invited Saul onto this show,
Thank you.
other than just his beautiful visage, which you all can't see because, as we went over before, it's an auditory medium, oral medium. Mega Kangaskhan, folks, probably the best Pokemon now.
Yeah.
Because Parental Bond is such a good ability. Every move it does ends up being 1.5 times more because it hits twice, and the second attack does half the damage. Has the ability to break focus sashes. Has the ability to break through substitutes. And the big combo that everyone's using is with Power Up Punch, which is a new move in Gen 6, which is a not that strong fighting move, but once it hits, it increases your attack by one stage. But since it's got Parental Bond, it hits twice, and in one turn, you've not only done a lot of damage, but you've also increased your attack by 2 stages. So you can like take out one Pokemon, and then when the next comes in, you can hit with a Sucker Punch, which is priority, and it'll still hit twice, and you're +2. Another fun thing I've done with Mega Kangaskhan is, I haven't seen anyone else use it, is Rock Tomb. Instead of trying for Stone Edge or something, you could try Rock Tomb, which isn't going to have the same base power, but every time Rock Tomb hits, it lowers the speed of the Pokemon, so you can sort of cripple a Pokemon and switch in, or it's actually very good in doubles, because people are more tentative to switch out, so they're sort of stuck there. And it's, good on Talonflame, because of that 4 times rock weakness. I'm glad you mentioned Mega Kangaskhan. I would have been, my family's honor would have been shamed, Saul, had I not.
Glad I could save your family's honor.
Yeah. The Wheeler clan would have I would have been disowned. Any remarks on first impressions on VGC so far? I'm sure we'll talk about it more when Nationals rears its ugly head. I'm sure listeners will enjoy how terrible my team is, all the mistakes I made when talking about it. I'm sure we'll get some grand comments about that. No, folks, the fans of the show are like awesome. So there wouldn't be much of that, other than the general tongue-in-cheek poking fun at old tracks. So yeah, I guess we'll take a break. If you two, do you have any more final comments?
I'm a little surprised that I'm not seeing Abomasnow so much.
Yeah, I wish I tried to make Mega Abomasnow work on my team, but the only way Abomasnow could really work in other VGC teams, the way I used him last year, was with a Choice Scarf because he's so slow.
Yeah.
Or at least not fast enough to get off a move before he's hit. And because his typing is pretty awful, 4 times weak to Heat Wave, weak to Rock Slide, weak to pretty much every spread move with the exception of like Discharge and Earthquake. Weak to Bullet Punch, which is bad because Sizor's all over the place. The only way to really get it off was to hope they didn't have a Sizor or kill that first, and then just Choice Scarf Blizzard all the time. But if you're doing a Mega Abomasnow, you can't do the Choice Scarf because you're holding the Abomasite.
Right.
Yeah.
He gets even slower, right, when he Mega Evolves?
Yeah, I think so. He looks so cool, though. His model is so awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Looks like a snowflake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The most scary snowflake. Cryogonal scary. I take that back. Cryogonal is way more terrifying.
Now we just need a Mega Cryogonal.
I'm just.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna have nightmares now because of Cryogonal. So yeah, we'll take a break while I have this existential crisis thinking about the tears of Cryogonal. So we'll see you on the other side of a break. And we are back for Pokemon of the Week. I'm not even sure if this is. I've been on, with the exception of last week, I've been on this show for like a lot of the recent episodes. I don't remember if we still do Pokemon of the Week. Somehow, it was just like 3 weeks ago, and I don't even remember. Maybe we talked about Greninja, which might make this week's Pokemon of the Week redundant. I'm starting to regret this week's Pokemon of the Week because I'm realizing it probably was Greninja. But this week we're going to talk about Kecleon, which got a lot cooler this generation, as now it has the Protean ability, which we had alluded to before when we were talking about Kecleon. Saul, do you want to explain how Protean works?
So Protean, essentially what it does is any move the Pokemon uses, the Pokemon changes its type to match that move. So essentially you get stabbed no matter what you use. I think it's only a hidden ability, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And Greninja and Kecleon are the only two Pokemon that get it, I think.
No.
No?
Yeah, the Froakie
yeah.
evolution line gets
Yeah,
it.
the whole
Right.
Froakie line is their hidden ability. And it's Kecleon's hidden ability. So it's only a hidden ability. There you go.
But what makes Kecleon a little different than Greninja is while Greninja's stats definitely point it in the direction of being an offensive Pokemon, using it to have like stab on every move and really good coverage. Kecleon's attack stat is okay at 90, but its best stat is its special defense at 120, and 60 120 isn't bad bulk, certainly, and if you invested, it could take a lot of hits and switching. And when it switches in, it's a normal type, which is one of the best defensive types. And then after that, you can sort of play around an opponent, especially a special one, because he's so bulky in that direction. You could probably run Sucker Punch, Toxic. Does he get Recover? I think Kecleon might get Recover. Kecleon can be.
I think you have to breed it on, but yeah.
Kecleon can get Recover, so I'm liking this even more. So probably Sucker Punch, Toxic, Recover. I don't know, maybe Protect, maybe Disable even, or Fake Out. Or I guess you need a Black and White move tutor to give Stealth Rock. But I think he can be sort of a good utility Pokemon, slap some Toxics on a lot of your opponent's team, and be able to switch in and then change types left and right so you keep your opponent guessing. Because Poison with Toxic is also a really good defensive type. I don't know, Rock from Stealth Rock isn't. But you get the idea. You can sort of change your typing based on what your opponent wants to do and make it so they over-predict things and aren't able to hit you for super effective, which is usually the way you get around a wall like that, is just hit it with a strong super effective move. But with Protean, it's harder to guess because they can keep changing it. And Greninja can't really take advantage of that because it's so frail, but Kecleon definitely can. And with Recover, it's super cool. Have I convinced either of you to use Kecleon on a team?
I want Mega Kecleon now.
Oh, man.
Just a Komodo Dragon or something.
Where would you find Kecleon's Mega Stone?
Probably.
To Abomasnow's right, as opposed to behind it.
It's just like a pebble, like you wouldn't even notice it. It's like, oh, I mean, I guess this is Kecleon's Mega Stone. All the other ones are like fancy and shiny, and it's just sort of a rock.
Just looks like a mood stone.
I like Kecleon's design too, and its shiny is. Oh wait, no, I was thinking its shiny is like literally the same.
Purple, isn't it?
Just the
Oh no, that's different. That's different.
the stripe
Right.
on it changes, right?
Right, only the stripe changes. I was thinking of the anime because there's a purple Kecleon in the anime. Why is it? They really dropped the ball on that one, not making it shiny purple as well.
There's a purple one in Mystery Dungeon Blue as well.
Right.
I remember that.
A good set of games. But I think we had a Mystery Dungeon episode already? Did we? Maybe we just talked about having a Mystery Dungeon episode and Steve never actually indulged Kenny and I in that joy. Kecleon. Introduced in Gen 3, doesn't evolve. It's the first stage.
The hardest Pokemon to recruit in Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue.
Huh.
Base recruit rate of negative 33.9%. It can only be recruited if the player's level 90 or higher and if they're holding a friend bow.
Wow.
And after all that, its recruit rate is only 0.1%.
Whoa.
They're not very friendly. I guess that's why they're
So there's-
invisible.
Kecleons are dicks. Steve's gonna have to edit that out.
Bulbasaur.
Kecleons are terrible people. I just want to be your friend, okay? Is it too much to ask? Every time I ask you to like maybe get some coffee or something, you change your color and I can't even see you anymore. I've brought a friend bow with me and you still don't like it. You compliment me on my friend bow. I know you like it, but I guess that's not enough. Am I just not cool enough for you? Are you too busy hanging out with like your pal Sharpedo? I just wish Pokemon weren't so cliquey.
Kecleon was actually a big part of Gen 3, the video games, since you kind of needed to see them to get around them.
Oh right, that was the foresty town. This shows my lack of knowledge of Gen 3. What was either of you remember the name of that town?
Fortree?
Yeah.
Tree Forest Land.
Tree
Fortree,
Forest
I think?
Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who hasn't played Gen 3, so...
Oh, you haven't ever actually played it?
Uh-uh.
You're not missing out much.
So I've heard.
Wow.
Am I gonna get into a fist fight with Declan right now?
Gen 3 was my favorite. I still play it sometimes on my iPad.
We could throw down right now. I could punch you over the internet. I could punch my hatred of Gen 3. I don't actually hate Gen 3. I just think it's the weakest.
See, Travis, this is why we don't do Pokemon of the Week anymore.
It just becomes me bagging on Gen 3 no matter what. I like a lot of the Pokemon from Gen 3. I just thought the game was sort of hard to get through. I'm Matt Downers.
I think
Go ahead.
I think we've run this segment into the ground at this point.
Saul, where can they find you around the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube under all the same name. Also Instagram, but I never use it. The Z Wolfenstein. They all match now. And
There's Harmony.
yeah, I figured it was good to have them all match. And I'm on the podcast's Tumblr, digglycave.tumblr.com.
Dak, where are we finding you?
You can find me in two places. One being Twitter at decktrap_. The other being YouTube at decktrapplays.
And that's DECTRAP, correct?
Correct.
You can follow the show at twitter.com/Pokemon Podcast, facebook.com/PKMNcast. You can go to PKMNcast.com and listen to the show, comment about the episodes. We've got like forums. There's a really cool layout. It's purple, which is a good color. Is it still purple? Because I don't remember if it changed after the new. I'm gonna have to look it up. I was on it yesterday, and I don't remember if it's still purple. Yeah, there's purple. Okay, purple is still being represented. It hasn't pulled a Kecleon and changed its color. You can follow Steve, the usual host of the show, at twitter.com/draggingalake. DRAGGINGALAKE. And if for some strange reason you want to get in contact with me, you can go to twitter.com/TheTravisW, TheTravis. W. And just today, I made a Twitter bot that just tweets out things that I might say out of context. And that's twitter.com/a Travis W. So not the Travis W, but just a Travis W. So if you really, really like me, you can follow my own impression of myself. But I think that's it, and now I'm going to vamp for a while and try to remember how this show... Okay, that's how this show ends. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are...
Super effective.
We did it!
Dora?
As Dora the Explorer would say. Yeah.
We saved the
Come on,
dinosaurs.
Vamonos.
Come on, let's go.
We did it. We saved the dinosaurs.